Erik,
Yes,
I
Brian.
I feel like after my stint, the last intro for Game of the Year podcast, Game of the Year cast, I'd like to apologize for my behavior. Uh, Even though I wasn't being funny, but you
It
know,
is. We're in the year 2002. Everything's better. Nothing happened
we got to
last year.
take your shoes off in the airport now.
Yeah. They're going to wand your butthole.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
of the Year
2000.
cast 2002.
Woo.
2002. You know what 2002 backwards is?
It's a palindrome. Yeah.
Woo. So, Erik,
Oh, bro.
um, how was your 2002 figuring out Game of the Year, huh? I want to know,
Oh,
how easy was it?
super easy. Once I realized what came out in 2002, it was super easy. I think you struggled a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to know. No, I was just wondering. Just wondering. Yeah, it was fucking hard. I'm not gonna bring up the last video because I put the edit in there because we'll talk about it once I get to it.
You
So
silly Billy.
exactly. So, and I realized it like right as I was trying to upload it, so I had to stop, put it in real quick, and then re-upload it.
No,
Okay.
yeah. I
So
watched live without the edit. I should have
Mhm.
saved it. So then, well, I can
so
actually
you could
probably.
prove that there was a version of it before I had to mix my fuck up.
I'm sure I could
Um,
probably get it easily.
2002. So I told Erik, like, so when it comes to the later years, I'm not gonna feel as bad with catching up on games, and like one of them is the game that I want. But when it goes to the years where we were children, and like it's been so long, like there's a lot of games, like I'll say, small little spoiler, my 2004 game of the year, I played a few years after it came out, and it's been a long time since then. So I was able to play it at a time where I was like, I could still have that appreciation because we're catching up on games. If you watched our backlog resolution goal for the year, we know as gamers we want to catch up on stuff. And sometimes it's just random stuff, and sometimes it's the games that we know we need to play because it's our job, or our quote unquote job. So I go to
Absolutely.
this list, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of these games I played a lot of, like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Metroid Prime, the first Spider-Man. Remember when it wasn't open world and crazy like Spider-Man 2, and it
Right
was
into the air.
exactly.
Bruce Campbell's yelling
Um,
at you for the first
I'm like
time.
looking at the games that came out. Super Mario Sunshine. It was a very good eclectic year. Again, we were starting to see everything open up. Here's the thing. I didn't want to say certain games, like, because I've been catching up on some of them. I felt like it was a little shady because I'm like, I don't like, these games are good, but none of them, I needed to be honest with myself. So I will say my honorable mention, shockingly enough, once I finally sat down, is a game that I think fits this. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I remember when I got the original Xbox, that was one of the first games I got. And even though I really like Oblivion, I really didn't get into Skyrim. Those games are not my thing. I think it was just at the time, since I was still young, it was just a fun game. And it was the first, I think it was the first Elder Scrolls game, like Fallout, right? Or
Yeah.
were the older Elder Scrolls games like first
Dude, don't ask me
person
more other
RPG?
Elder Scrolls or the prequels to Skyrim. It doesn't matter.
Oblivion is not. I don't think we should disrespect like Oblivion and Morrowind that bad. I don't think they're like
Elder Scrolls
that.
Online is the sequel to Skyrim,
And
and it's a
that's
better
the and
sequel.
that's the superior one, clearly. But my game of the year for 2002 was my runner up for 2001, because unlike doing the research for Eric's, I didn't realize that this game actually came out in the States in 2002, which is how I go off of it. That's how I do my movies. If a movie comes out, I don't care if you see it at a movie festival the year it came out. If it comes out the next year, that's when I consider it. Like Paddington comes out in the UK Christmas time, comes out the next month in the States. That's when I consider it. So it's Animal Crossing. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into the whole childhood, but we already know. So this was for me like the first this was like the first sim game that really connected with me. And obviously it's because it's the Nintendo spin on a sim game, right? And this
Right.
game, when I was thinking about it, it kind of is a pretty revolutionary for pushing the way, because I think this game, like a lot of what Nintendo does, takes things that maybe aren't really like fun to a mass audience or as a specific audience, and then goes, everyone can play it. Like, because I feel like you don't ever hear people talk about like, let's do some races in, I mean, maybe Forza or like Gran Turismo, but people don't talk like that. They go, we're gonna whoop each other in Mario Kart. Like, that's what they do. Like, they're very much, they pick a certain kind of genre and they make it, and it's not like they make it family friendly or they water it down. They make it really good, but they do their own spin and they make it accessible and appeal to everyone. And that's what Animal Crossing did. My sister was the GameCube in the house. I had the Xbox. So we were talking about Super Smash Brothers the last episode. I played that with her on there. She had her own village. I had my own village. She was very gracious with that. And it's just, the more I thought about this game over the mistake that I made from the last video, the more I really thought about it and went, you know what? I'm not trying to say this is like the best Animal Crossing or anything, because my personal favorite that's more personal to me is maybe the DS one, because that's the one that was really like, this is mine. But like at the time, one of my favorite things about playing Animal Crossing back in the day is the fact that nowadays, as I think Erik can attest to how I do like 100% now, I just like set up the laptop. I have the guides all pulled up like once I'm done beating a game, and then it's just okay, what? Back then it was like the fun secrets of, how do we get KK Slider to the village? How do we do this? It was like, that was part of the fun. And especially being a kid, it's the fun of being like, we don't have the internet, we don't have these guides, we need to figure out what the hell we're doing. I will say, the reason why a game like this would be on my list at this time is, back in the day, these kind of games I could sit and play forever. Now, I don't got time for that. Finding fish, finding bones, it was so fun to visit like other people's villages, like to just have all this, like, you'd swap the memory cards, and like back in that day, you youngins, you didn't know how
Oh no, the
the days.
travesty was the villagers being like, "Hey, so I'm moving," and you like can't stop them, and then all of a sudden this new villager appears, and you're like, "You're not better than that one," and then you're like, "Oh, I've grown to accustom and love them," and then they leave you anyway.
None of you will understand how funny, goofy, but real it was to be like, KK needs to get to town. And when you saw him come to town, you were fucking like, this shit is lit. We're about to have a party tonight.
We're about to have the end credits roll down the screen.
Like, yo, and then yeah, the game's just like, okay, keep playing. Like, here we go. Like, that was the accomplishment, right? No, it's just, I love the art style. It's creative. It's taking a genre and putting it, throwing what I'm trying to say, analogy. And it's just, again, I have so many memories with this game. It was so much fun. And it's just one of those series that I think is one of the better Nintendo sort of franchises that they made. And who would have thought? Like, it's just such a odd creation, and then it became such a huge phenomenon. And this one, again, I'm not saying this is the best. This is one of those, this one, again, insert childhood quote, but it just goes back to kind of, again, just my memories. And again, a lot of games like this were games that were my thing. obviously Halo is in a different camp, but I really was not into as many linear games because I'm going to be honest, I was stupid and I kind of sucked at games or like when you're younger. So I'm like, I was just looking for like normal, kind of the normal whatever. I wasn't playing these complex level games, not all the time, but no dog, Animal Crossing. Cheers to you. A Nintendo game as my number one game of the year.
Right.
But it's
Right.
not surprising because Nintendo was the beginning of my life. I think Nintendo is the beginning of any gamer's journey, no matter what.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, no, it's whatever. Hold on a second. Uh, we're gonna have a special guest in a few moments. Give me a second.
oh, geez.
You know him, you love him. He is the main star of every Animal Crossing game. It is Tom Nook himself. Tom, we're so happy for you to be here. He's got a bit of a cold. Okay, goodbye, Tom Nook. Thank you for your time.
Get out of there, Maylene. Run. Go. Run fast.
What are you talking about? She's having a great time, can't you tell?
She looks like she's ready to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, New Horizons, baby.
So, Mr. Lafferty,
Yeah, that's me.
let's first off, before you jump ahead, before you get super excited, what is your runner-up game of the year?
My runner-up, you know, if there's two things I love in life, it's monkeys and balls. Super Monkey Ball, baby. The first game from Sega to come to the Nintendo GameCube because the Dreamcast failed. Back in the year 99, there were two companies. Oh, Tom Nook's back.
Tom Nook, we're done talking about Animal Crossing.
Tom Nook naked.
Oh, the shirt is off.
Here. There were two companies that lived in the same building together. One by the name of Squaresoft, and the other named Disney. And one day, two of their executives just happened to walk into the same elevator together. They looked at each other.
Coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence, They looked at each other and they said, why don't we put Final Fantasy and Disney together? And so they did. And that's where we come to love Kingdom Hearts.
Yo, that PS2 greatest hits, hit them with it.
Yeah, the greatest hits, whatever, all the platinum releases, all that garbage. Player's choice, I hate it. I hate those banners. Get me the original banner. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts. Who knew there would be a franchise that would exist like Kingdom Hearts? Telling me as a young boy, where they could actually mix two properties fully together, somehow making not sense, because it doesn't make sense, but making the worlds of Final Fantasy and Disney work together. It was astonishing from a young child's perspective because you're looking at this and you're like, wow, you're getting to visit all these Disney worlds, these classic Disney worlds. You get to go to Alice in Wonderland. You get to go see Hercules. Tarzan's in this game. This is the one time Tarzan makes an appearance in any game. Thanks, Phil Collins. Aladdin.
He'll be in your heart,
Yeah, something like that. Peter Pan Neverland. You get to go visit You get to go inside Monstro's belly. And all in the meanwhile, you're fighting these little dudes called Heartless because when you suddenly just lose your heart, your tusk of a torso becomes a Heartless. What happens to your heart? You just got to defeat the Heartless and your heart should come back to you, But, it's convoluted. I don't need to go into that. But you got the strong protagonist of Sora, wielder of the Keyblade. Why does he wield the Keyblade? Why is this? That goes later down the line. It doesn't matter. You get to hold a giant Keyblade just like this. Yeah, you can tell.
Why open a big ass door when you can beat the shit out of someone with it?
I mean, the goal with the Keyblade is to actually lock doors and block, like you find the key hole for each world, and then you lock it so it's not affected much by the Heartless anymore. Um,
Oh.
your main mission also is, you're trying to find your two friends, so Riku and Kairi. Um, Riku's hanging out with the bad boys, all the Disney villains, mainly Maleficent. What a good influence. She's like your main baddie for pretty much the majority of the game. You don't really get the chance to see her till later down the line, but you always see her and Riku, like her being influencing on Riku, being like, see, he doesn't care about you. He's friends with Donald Duck and Goofy. Donald Duck and Goofy are your companions in this game, and
Yo.
literally though, you have a
Yo.
great time with them. They're just hanging around. Goofy's spinning with his shield. Donald's casting spells and never healing you. It's fine. It's fine. You'll just die a couple times. But I think the whole gimmick of, you know, going around and finding out, going through the paths of most Disney movies, in a sense. You don't really do Alice in Wonderland's story. You don't do Hercules' story, but some areas you're actually like, okay, I'm following through like a plot line. One of the best worlds, because it's the first time that they did a costume change for the world, was Halloween Town, Nightmare Before Christmas. They changed like the art style and the way that Sora, Donald, and Goofy look. It looks awesome. You also go to Under the Sea with the Little Mermaid in Atlantica, and you get a fucking mermaid tail. Goofy's a turtle. Donald's a squid. A duck is a squid. Squid Games. Uh, Finally leading up to your big battle at Hollow Bastion, going to find your friends, save the 7 princesses of heart. Don't ask me about that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense down the line either.
So what's
And
the purpose of liking this game if it doesn't make sense?
because it's the power of friendship and finding the key to your heart. And I know, disgusting. I know.
Yuck.
But
Friendship, hearts. That's
no,
some
like
simp shit.
there's something about how Sora is in this game. He's just that goofy, 14-year-old boy that's just like,
That likes to
hey,
quack like a duck.
no, that's the other one.
Well, he
That
said
he
he's
wants,
goofy.
no. Anyway, he's just, he wants, literally that's how he smiles. Like one of the earliest parts in the game. You probably will see it from the gameplay. But no, he's just, the way that his character develops, finding out all this info and just being like, all this heartless stuff means nothing because I care about my friends. I know who they are, and I know that they won't forget me and I won't forget them at the end of the day. No matter how far we are, if we're super close, if we're worlds away, we'll always be together. And just that hero's path for Sora, all the sacrifices he makes, literally at the end, the sacrifice he makes, just so that he can restore one of his friends' life, is beautiful. And then Riku finally gets his little bit of redemption after being manipulated and finding out that Maleficent wasn't the big bad. It was a guy named Ansem. He's got a big heartless heart around him, and he's trying to open the door to Kingdom Hearts. But guess what, Brian? There's no darkness behind Kingdom Hearts. It's light. And then a big ball of light opens up. And then at the end, you get to see the one and only Mickey Mouse.
My
Mickey Mouse.
goodness, you're just gonna spoil the whole game for people.
Hey, this game is over 20 years old. And you know what? This is probably a better explanation of most of the plot than the game will explain to you. How's that for one thing?
Oh, great. You're the better explanation. Wonderful.
Literally, luckily we have an HD collection to explain everything to you. Kinda, not really. I thought the combat is super well done for the time it was. It made sense, simple attack button of 3 combos, firing spells, items, summons, learning new combos, uh, you know, different opportunities to grow Sora, level him up. It just stuck with me for the longest time. It was really a good connection between me and my brother growing up. We always talk about it from time to time, especially with all the new stuff coming out with, Kingdom Hearts 4 being announced earlier this year, which was insane to me that they're already announcing it when, 3 took 11 years. I think it was
Well, yeah,
literally
because
felt
they
like
knew people were going to be annoyed if the next one took forever. So they're like, okay, fine, we'll get going. My goodness.
yeah, but the plot's confusing there too. Don't worry. If you have no idea what happened in Kingdom Hearts 3, which a lot of people don't really know what happened with Kingdom Hearts 3. But honestly, like this start of a wonderful franchise, all started back here where, it's not the best one in the series. We might talk about that later. But it had a good grounding point. It made that establishment between both Final Fantasy and Disney make sense. And it just really tells you, even from a young age, that hey, even behind all this darkness, there is some light. There goes a little boop, a little light. You just gotta find it yourself and realize what you have to make that light. I don't have a special guest for Kingdom Hearts, so unfortunately, yeah, Sora couldn't make it. I'm glad Tom Nook came today. Game of the Year cast 2022. 2022? 2002, 20 years later.
You've been
What was
doing
your
this.
favorite game from
You've been
2000?
doing this channel way too long with me. You're losing your goddamn mind.
What was
Yes.
your favorite game from 2002? Leave it in that comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, my nizzle.
Share the video. Do all the things. We appreciate all the support. As always, we're going to be going through this entire year, going through every year. 2022 will be coming up, but that'll be very later in the year.
Very later, yes. We got lots more to talk about, so please.
And you think these first 3 have been kind of like, oh, we're telling you, just wait, because when we get to those golden years, these videos are they're gonna go from 25 minutes to like 2.5 hours. So believe us.
Honestly, like this is still probably gonna be like
we're laying the groundwork. We're building.
Give it just a couple more years, because once we start getting into the games that we both agree were the best game of that year, it's all over, folks. It's all over.
It's game over. But until then, it's just a nice, simple
toodaloo.
Toodaloo.